The night was heavy with cold as Lena walked along the empty road holding her son Sam close to her chest. Snow fell slowly but steadily, and the wind pushed against her face making every step harder. Lena had been walking for hours because there was nowhere else to go. The shelter was full and the doors had closed before she arrived. Her shoes were wet and thin and her hands shook from the cold. Sam was quiet and tired, and his small body felt too light in her arms. She kept whispering soft words to him, hoping he could feel her care even while asleep. The city around them felt silent and distant, as if life had stepped away for the night. Streetlights flickered weakly and the sound of the wind echoed between empty buildings. Lena felt invisible, like no one would notice if she disappeared into the snow. She remembered warmer days when she had a room and a bed and a door she could lock. Those memories felt far away now and painful to touch. Still she kept walking because stopping would mean giving up. Sam shifted slightly and pressed his face against her shoulder. Lena adjusted her grip and felt fear rise inside her chest. She worried about his breathing and his small cold hands. A mother should protect her child, and she felt she was failing. Her steps slowed as her legs grew weak from exhaustion. The cold crept deeper into her bones with every breath she took. At the edge of an old parking lot, Lena noticed a faint glow through the snow. She lifted her head and squinted through the darkness. A vehicle stood alone near the far wall covered lightly in snow. It did not look old or damaged like the other cars around it. Its surface was smooth and clean and reflected the streetlights softly. A thin line of blue light ran along its side, glowing gently. Lena stopped walking and stared at it in disbelief. There was no sound coming from it and no smoke in the air. The light did not flicker like the streetlights did. It felt calm and steady, like it was waiting. She looked around to see if anyone else was nearby. The parking lot was empty and silent. Sam stirred again and let out a weak sound. Lena felt a sharp pain of worry and looked back at the vehicle. The cold air burned her lungs and her vision felt blurry. She knew she could not keep walking much longer. With slow, careful steps she moved toward the glowing vehicle. As she got closer, the blue light grew a little brighter. The snow around the vehicle looked untouched and smooth. There were no tracks leading to it, as if it had just appeared. Lena felt a mix of fear and hope rise inside her. Her heart beat fast and loud in her ears. When she stood near the side of the vehicle, the door slid open quietly. Warm air flowed out and wrapped around her face and hands. She gasped softly as the heat touched her skin. It felt like stepping into a different world. Sam shifted again and relaxed slightly in her arms. Lena froze in place, unsure of what to do. Nothing like this had ever happened to her before. She worried it might be dangerous or a trick. But the warmth felt real and gentle. The cold behind her felt cruel and sharp. She took one careful step inside. The inside of the vehicle glowed with soft white light. The floor felt solid and warm under her feet. The air smelled clean and fresh. The door closed slowly behind her without a sound. Lena stood still, holding Sam and looking around. The seats were wide and smooth and looked comfortable. The walls curved gently and showed no buttons or screens. Everything felt calm and quiet. Her body began to relax without her realizing it. She sat down slowly on one of the seats. Sam rested against her chest and breathed more easily. Lena felt tears rise and slide down her cheeks. For the first time that night she was not shaking. The warmth reached deep inside her and eased the pain in her hands. She looked down at Sam and brushed snow from his hair. His face looked more peaceful now. Lena felt relief wash over her like a wave. She closed her eyes for a moment and let herself breathe. Her thoughts raced as she tried to understand what was happening. She wondered who owned this vehicle and why it was here. She wondered why the door opened for her. There was no driver's seat and no steering wheel in sight. The vehicle remained still and quiet. Outside the wind howled and snow hit the windows softly. Inside it felt like a safe shelter hidden from the world. Lena hugged Sam closer and whispered a promise of warmth. She felt a strange sense that this moment mattered. It felt like the start of something she could not yet see. She did not know where the night would lead. She did not know why help had come in this form. All she knew was that for now they were safe. The cold no longer touched them. And in the quiet glow of the mysterious vehicle, Lena felt a small spark of hope begin to grow. Lena woke slowly as warmth surrounded her body, and for a moment she forgot where she was. The soft light inside the vehicle glowed gently and did not hurt her eyes. Sam was still asleep against her chest, breathing calmly and evenly. The storm outside had grown quieter, and only a faint sound of wind could be heard. She sat up carefully and looked around again, trying to understand the space. The vehicle felt larger inside than it had looked from the outside. The walls curved smoothly, and the light seemed to come from everywhere. There were no sharp edges and no visible machines. Lena felt nervous again as her mind fully woke up. She wondered how long they had been inside and if anyone was looking for this vehicle. She worried someone might come and tell her to leave. Her grip on Sam tightened as fear returned quietly. As if responding to her thoughts, a soft sound filled the air. It was not loud or sudden, and it felt calming. A gentle voice spoke slowly and clearly. The voice welcomed her and said she was safe. Lena froze and held her breath. She looked around, trying to find the source of the voice. There was no person and no screen that she could see. Her heart beat fast as she listened. The voice explained that the vehicle was designed to help those in danger. It said it could sense extreme cold and human distress. It said it had chosen to open because Lena and Sam needed warmth. The words felt unreal but kind. Lena whispered a question, asking what this place was. The voice answered calmly and said it was a mobile shelter. It explained that it could move quietly and provide heat, food, and rest. It said its purpose was care, not harm. Sam stirred slightly and opened his eyes. He looked around slowly and did not cry. Lena felt surprised by his calm. She whispered softly to him and told him they were safe. The voice noticed Sam and spoke gently again. It said his body temperature was improving. It said he needed rest and warmth. Lena felt tears return to her eyes. She asked why this shelter was here and who sent it. The voice paused briefly before answering. It said it was part of a quiet program meant to help unseen people. It said not everyone knew about it. Lena felt confused but also grateful. She had lived many nights with fear and hunger. No help had ever come this way before. Yet here she was sitting in warmth. The voice asked if Lena was hungry. Her stomach tightened at the question. She had not eaten properly in days. She nodded even though no one could see her. A panel on the side of the wall slid open smoothly. Inside were simple warm meals wrapped neatly. The smell made Lena feel weak with emotion. She reached out slowly and took one. She fed Sam first, watching him eat carefully. His small hands held the food tightly. His face showed relief and trust. Lena felt a deep ache in her chest. After Sam finished, she ate quietly herself. The food was warm and gentle. It gave her strength she had forgotten she needed. She leaned back against the seat and breathed deeply. The vehicle remained still while they rested. The light dimmed slightly, becoming softer. Lena felt her eyes grow heavy again. But her mind stayed awake. She thought about her past and how life had changed. She remembered having a small job and a rented room. She remembered laughter and plans for the future. Then illness and loss had taken everything. She had tried to stay strong for Sam. Some days felt impossible to survive. Yet she had kept going. Now help had come in the most unexpected way. The voice spoke again and asked about her next steps. Lena did not know how to answer. She had no home and no clear plan. She felt embarrassed to admit it. The voice responded gently and said the shelter could help further. It said it could take them somewhere warm and safe. It said she would not be forced to choose. The decision would always be hers. Lena looked down at Sam and saw him watching her. His eyes were clearer and brighter. She felt a quiet strength return. She nodded slowly. She said she wanted a safe place for her child. She said she wanted a chance to stand again. Her voice shook, but her words were firm. The vehicle seemed to respond instantly. The floor vibrated softly as the shelter prepared to move. There was no sound of an engine. The light outside the windows shifted gently. Snow and darkness slowly slid away. Lena held Sam close as the vehicle moved smoothly forward. She felt no fear this time. The ride was calm and steady. The voice stayed quiet, letting them rest. She watched the city pass silently outside. Buildings and streets faded into the night. She wondered where they were going. For once the unknown did not terrify her. Sam leaned against her and yawned. Lena smiled softly and kissed his forehead. She felt hope grow stronger with every breath. The shelter continued forward through the quiet streets. Somewhere ahead a new chapter waited for them. Lena did not know what it would bring. But she knew this moment mattered. And deep inside she believed their lives were changing for the better. The vehicle slowed gently as the city lights faded behind it and quiet streets opened ahead. Lena looked through the window and noticed the buildings were smaller and calmer. The storm had passed and the air outside looked still and clean. Sam sat upright now, watching the world with curious eyes. The shelter came to a smooth stop near a low building surrounded by soft lights. It did not look grand or rich, but it felt welcoming. Warm light shone from the windows and the area felt peaceful. Lena felt nervous again as the door opened quietly. The voice spoke softly and said they had arrived at a support center. It said the place was safe and filled with people who cared. Lena held Sam's hand and stepped outside slowly. The cold was still there, but it no longer felt harsh. A woman stood near the entrance wearing simple warm clothes. Her face held kindness and calm. She smiled gently when she saw Lena and Sam. She spoke softly and welcomed them inside. Lena hesitated for a moment, unsure if this was real. Then Sam squeezed her hand and stepped forward bravely. Lena followed him, feeling strength rise in her chest. They walked inside together. The building was warm and quiet. There were clean floors, soft chairs, and gentle light. Other people sat calmly, some talking softly, others resting. No one stared or judged. The woman introduced herself as Mira. She spoke kindly and asked if Lena needed rest. Lena nodded and felt tears return to her eyes. Mira guided them to a small room. The room had 2 beds, clean blankets, and warm air. Lena sat down slowly, feeling the weight of the day lift. Sam climbed onto the bed and laughed softly. The sound filled Lena with relief. Mira brought warm clothes and asked Lena to change. She also brought clean water and gentle food. Lena thanked her again and again. Mira simply smiled and said she was glad they came. Later that night Sam slept deeply under the blankets. Lena sat beside him, watching his chest rise and fall. Her heart felt full and tired. She had not felt this safe in a long time. She thought about the shelter vehicle and wondered if it was still nearby. It had brought them here and then quietly disappeared. She did not feel abandoned by it. Instead, she felt guided. The next morning sunlight streamed through the window softly. Lena woke to the sound of Sam laughing. He jumped from the bed and ran to the window. She smiled and felt warmth inside her chest. Mira returned and asked Lena about her past. Lena spoke slowly, sharing her story. She spoke of loss, struggle, and long nights. Mira listened without interrupting. When Lena finished, Mira nodded gently. She said help would be given step by step. She said Lena was not alone anymore. Those words stayed with Lena deeply. Over the next days, Lena learned the routine of the center. She helped with small tasks and kept Sam close. Sam played with other children and laughed freely. His smile returned more each day. Lena began to feel like herself again. She ate regularly and slept peacefully. Her body regained strength. Her mind felt clearer. One afternoon Lena noticed a familiar blue light outside the window. Her heart skipped as she recognized it. The shelter vehicle stood quietly near the building. It did not move or make a sound. Lena stepped outside alone and stood near it. The door did not open this time. The blue light pulsed softly. She felt a sense of calm wash over her. She whispered thank you even though no one spoke back. The light dimmed slowly. The vehicle moved quietly away. Lena watched until it disappeared. She returned inside with a steady heart. She knew now that help came in many forms. She knew she had been chosen because she kept going. That thought filled her with pride. Weeks passed and Lena began training for small work at the center. She helped others who arrived cold and tired. She shared her story gently. She offered hope where she once had none. Sam grew stronger and happier each day. He learned new words and made new friends. He felt safe. That was all Lena had ever wanted. At night, Lena sometimes thought of the cold streets. She remembered the fear and the silence. She knew she would never forget those nights. They shaped her strength. Now when she looked ahead she saw possibility. She saw a future built slowly with care. She saw herself standing strong. And she saw Sam growing in warmth and trust. The mysterious vehicle had changed their path. But it was Lena who chose to step forward. Her journey was not over yet. But she knew now she was ready for whatever came next. Lena stood by the window one quiet morning and watched Sam play in the yard with other children. Sunlight touched the grass and laughter filled the air. The sound still felt new to her heart. She placed her hand on the glass and breathed slowly. Life at the center had become steady and gentle. Each day followed a simple rhythm of meals, work, and rest. Lena helped prepare food, clean rooms, and welcome new arrivals. She felt useful again. People trusted her calm voice and kind eyes. They listened when she spoke. They saw strength in her that she once thought was gone. Helping others healed parts of her she did not know were broken. Sam ran toward her waving a small paper drawing. He had drawn a house with bright colors and a smiling sun. Lena knelt and hugged him tightly. Tears filled her eyes but her smile stayed strong. She remembered nights when the cold felt endless. She remembered fear pressing on her chest. Those memories no longer controlled her. They reminded her how far she had come. Weeks turned into months quietly. Lena was offered a small job at the center. It was not grand, but it was honest. She accepted with gratitude. With her earnings she saved little by little. Mira helped her plan for the future. They spoke about a small apartment and school for Sam. The idea felt real now. One evening as Lena walked outside she felt a familiar calm in the air. The sky glowed softly as the sun set. She stopped near the gate and looked around. A blue light shimmered briefly in the distance. Her heart recognized it instantly. The shelter vehicle stood far away near the trees. It did not come closer. It simply waited. Lena placed her hand over her heart and whispered thanks. She felt warmth rise inside her. The light faded slowly. She knew its role was complete. That night Lena sat with Sam before bed. She told him a gentle story about finding light in the cold. Sam listened with wide eyes. He fell asleep holding her hand. Lena stayed awake a little longer, watching his peaceful face. She promised herself to protect this calm. She promised to keep moving forward. Her fear no longer guided her steps. The next months brought more changes. Lena and Sam moved into a small clean apartment nearby. It had 2 rooms and bright windows. It felt like a beginning. Sam started school and returned home each day full of stories. Lena listened carefully to every word. She cooked simple meals and laughed with him. Their home filled with warmth. Sometimes Lena walked past the old streets where she once wandered. She saw others still facing the cold. She did not look away anymore. She reached out when she could. She volunteered, often helping guide people to the center. She spoke with honesty and care. Her story gave others courage. She carried hope with her everywhere she went. One winter evening, snow began to fall again. Lena stood by the window and watched it quietly. She felt no fear this time. Only reflection. She remembered the night everything changed. She remembered stepping into warmth when hope felt lost. That moment shaped her future. She honored it with gratitude. Sam came to her side and looked up smiling. He said he felt safe. Lena held him close. Those words meant everything. Years later, Lena stood at the center once more. She now helped manage the place. New families arrived seeking warmth and care. She greeted them with open arms. Her life was not perfect, but it was full. She had learned resilience, patience, and trust. She had learned that help could come quietly. She had learned to believe again. Sometimes at night she still looked toward the horizon. She wondered how many others were being guided. She hoped the light would reach them too. Her heart stayed open. Lena knew she would always carry the memory of the mysterious shelter. It was a turning point, not a miracle alone. It met her strength halfway. She had stepped forward when it mattered. As she tucked Sam into bed one night, she smiled softly. The future no longer felt heavy. It felt possible. It felt warm. The cold had once tried to take everything. But kindness and courage stood stronger. Lena had found her way. And her journey continued with hope lighting every step.